Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for my Expand the Pan project. So this is a project where you roll in shades from your collection that already have pan on them, and my goal is to use them each 5 times. So I am working on 3 shades at a time, and this is not a top priority project for me. It's a side project, so there isn't always a ton of use, but I do have a little bit of progress to share with you all today. But before we jump into today's video, if you would consider subscribing, I would greatly appreciate it. I post a lot of eyeshadow palette content, tutorials, other painting projects, so if any of that interests you, definitely subscribe. I am really trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. I am so close, so any support you could show would be so greatly appreciated. And with that, we can jump into today's video. So like I said, I am working on 3 shades at a time, and my goal is to use each of them 5 times. So the first palette I have to talk about is my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. So from this palette, I have been working on the shade Twilight. So Twilight is this purple shimmer shade over here, and this one has been in for 2 months, and I've only reached for it 4 times total so far. But I haven't done my makeup today, and I am planning on reaching for this shade when I do my look, so I am thinking I might roll this one out, and if I can, I will take progress pictures of the shade after I use it the 5th time. But this one is going to be rolling out of this project since I am going to be reaching for it today, and that will be my 5th use. I am not the biggest fan of this shade just because of the formula of it. I think the color is super pretty. It has a little bit of a blue shift to it, and I think that's really fun and really pretty. But it's just a little bit of a drier formula. It's not as pigmented as I would personally like, but it still has been fun to reach for, and I feel like there is definitely a bigger pan in that shade now, so that is good. And this has also allowed me to reach into some of the other shades in this palette that I am kind of trying to work on the side of my projects to hit pan on. So this has been a really nice one to be reaching into, but I am happy to be rolling it out after this final use. Alright, next up we have my ColourPop It's a Princess Thing palette. So from here I have been working on the shade Fairy Godmother. So Fairy Godmother is this shade in the center. It's a bit of a corally pink sort of shade, and this one just rolled in last month, but I've only reached for it once. So this one will definitely be staying in. I have 4 more uses to go on it before I can roll it out, but I am more than happy that this palette is staying in. This is my favorite palette in my entire collection. I say this every time I reach into this palette, but I absolutely love it. This shade is not my favorite formula either. It's a little bit of a less pigmented shimmer formula than the other ones in here. I feel like it's the only one that has this sort of formula, but it's still a pretty color. It's still a shade I enjoy using. Obviously, I have hit pan on it, and ColourPop shades aren't the easiest to hit pan on, so I have definitely shown this one some love, and I am excited to continue to reach into it and hopefully get some good use on this shade, on some of the other shades in this palette. So like I said, this one will be staying in, and I am excited to get my final uses on it. So the final palette that I have had in is my Ulta Ravenclaw palette, and I have been working on the shade Beauxbatons. So that is this lighter blue shimmer up top here, and this one has also been in for just 1 month, but I have reached for this one the 5 times, and I am so excited. I feel like you can definitely tell that the pan has gotten bigger, and I have really enjoyed reaching into this. This palette just rolled into my Pan Those eyeshadows about a week ago as well, so that has definitely helped me to finish off the uses on this. I think I only had a couple uses left when this rolled into Pan Those eyeshadows, but it definitely got me to hit those final couple uses, and I am so excited. So this one will be fully rolling out, and I've been having so much fun reaching for this palette, and obviously I will continue since it is in a different project, but this shade specifically is so much fun to reach for. It's really fun to pair with this one, which is in my Pan Those eyeshadows. I have found those two to blend really nicely together, and they just create a really pretty look on the lids. So I will have pictures you'll see popping up on the screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see what those shades look like together. So I am happy this palette is staying in a different project, but I am ready to roll that shade out specifically and roll something new in its place. So I have 2 rollouts for this video. I am super excited. I honestly wasn't planning on rolling out the Huda Beauty one, but I did decide to just because I am going to be reaching for it that 5th time, and there isn't really any real reason to keep it in for a whole nother month after I've hit those uses. So I am going to be rolling in 2 new shades. I have my spreadsheet pulled up next to me, and I am going to be rolling in from 1 to 76. So I have my Pretty Random app here set from 1 to 76, and I will re-roll if I get a shade that has already been in, or if I get one that is from a palette that is currently in or just rolled out. Those are my typical rolling in rules. So I will go ahead and roll in 2 new shades. So 66 actually comes from the Huda Beauty palette, so I am going to re-roll just because I don't want to work on the same palette back to back. I want to spread the love a little bit within my collection. So 38 comes from my Wet n Wild Game Over palette, and it is the 9th shade in that palette. Shade number 1 is the Fairy Godmother shade from It's a Princess Thing, so I will re-roll this one as well. That shade also comes from It's a Princess Thing, so I'm going to have to re-roll again. I'm so sorry about this. Okay, 36 comes from my Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette, and it is the shade Strawberry Lemonade, so I'm going to go grab that one and be right back. So I have my 2 palettes here. So the first one that got rolled in is Wet n Wild Game Over. So this is the cute little Pac-Man palette that they did a few years ago now, but I absolutely love it. So the shade that got rolled in is this white shimmer at the bottom. I am working on a couple other white or very light shimmers at the moment, so this one may take a little bit more time to get my use on, but it is a very easy shade to use. I typically use it as a nice inner corner shade. Sometimes I top it over the lid since it is one of the only shimmers in this palette. I've used it kind of as a shimmer over the mattes as a little topper shade. So it will be an easy shade to reach for. I'm just reaching for other similar shades in other projects at the moment, so I am going to have to see how I can work this one into my looks, but I'm definitely excited about this one rolling in. Working on this palette a little bit more before the end of the year, so this one will be very fun to work on. Then the other palette rolling in is my Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. So from here I will be pulling Strawberry Lemonade, which is my favorite shade in this palette. I just think it's so pretty. It's such a nice light pink shimmer shade, so I am very excited about this. This isn't necessarily the time of year I would be reaching into this palette and this shade. I usually like cooler tones during the winter months, but this one is just such a pretty shade, and I am excited to reach into it, and I think it might even pair nicely with the Fairy Godmother shade from It's a Princess Thing, so maybe I can get some use on those together. So 5 uses on each of these. I am super excited about the new roll-ins. So these are the palettes I will be working on for the next month. I am hoping to have some good progress, but like I said earlier, this project isn't my #1 priority project. It's one I like to do on the side just to make sure I'm still getting use out of shades in my collection even if I've hit pan on them. So hopefully I will have some good progress and be able to possibly roll out some more shades. Let me know what you guys think of this project. What goals do you think I can hit? Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!